What was the flashlight? Did someone just do a flashlight just as we were going live?
Highlights.
Boo, 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 boo. Andy's got his flashlight. Ellen's got her pink light. I've got terrible light. Matt's got his dome light. Love that. There we go.
I'll give some athletic fit. Right, we're going live. We are live.
We are
live, yeah.
Please do not swear.
Yeah, I put the strobe lighting disclaimer down the bottom, I think. I should have done that. How are we all? Everyone doing well? Matt, you're looking ready for a live chat. You were up in the screen like one of those new learner lady drivers that are so close to their screen, holding the wheel like this. You were that guy on the live chat then?
Yeah, that's me. I did my hair especially for you guys. Just happy to be here. Good.
Ellen looking very glam. Have you just had your hair blow dried?
I did do it this morning. Thank you for noticing. Ready for the live chat, obviously.
And Andy, obviously beautiful as ever.
You know it.
Let's get stuck into property. We were a minute late to the live anyway. Base rate, there it is, somewhere over there near Ellen. If you could extend my arm and point down, Ellen. There you go, thank you.
Can we do that way? There we go,
yeah, there you go. Base rate went up. We got our email from Uncle Dave. Shout out to AFP Wokenham. Always supplying us with fantastic information in the mortgage world. Uncle Dave highlighted the fact that he thought this would happen today. Wasn't the best kept secret, I don't think, but he thought this would happen today when he sent the email yesterday. But the good news is that most of the lenders seem to still be reducing rates, even in anticipation of this happening. So let's get stuck straight into buyer demand, because that's what the live chat says. And I just want to find out, first of all, from you, Ellen, because ladies first, how are you finding buyer demand in Bracknell with your new listings that are coming on the market? Are they getting nothing? Are they selling? Are they getting activity? Is it normal? How many more hand signals can I do to replicate buyer demand?
On Vogue is buyer demand. So give you an example, this weekend just gone, we launched a 3-bed semi in Bracknell at what I like to call the correct price. Now, the correct price meant that we were not quite inundated, but we had a shed load of inquiries. And out of those inquiries, we booked in 15 people for an open day. We had a waiting list, so we chose the best 15. 6 offered. 5 of those were over the asking price, and we got them 15 grand over the asking price on a 3-bed semi. So price it correctly, and buyer demand is still very much through the roof.
Over asking price in 2023. You heard it here first.
Absolutely. Price it right, present it right, and that's all you need to do.
A lot has happened positive for the market since we acquired those neon lights for the podcast room and set them to the brand colour. I have noticed that that's had a huge impact. I've got 2 more of those to put up as well. Matt's nodding, he's in full agreement. So let's talk about Reading. We spoke about Bracknell, one end of the A329M. Let's talk about Reading, the other side of the A329M. And then let's get Andy to cover new homes inquiries and what's going on there for us as well. So talk to us about buyer demand up in Reading, aka the Reading agent.
I think in Reading it's a similar story, or I know in Reading it's a similar story. It's a more price sensitive market than we were in 12 months ago. But as Ellen said, if you price it correctly, if you go on at the correct price to start with, you're going to give yourself the chance you need to get sold, multiple offers being the ultimate goal, which then gives the sellers the best buyer to choose from. So it is more price sensitive in Reading, but the buyers are absolutely still there if it's priced correctly.
Nice. No, yeah, I totally agree. We are in a market for sensible marketing, sensible pricing, and sensible goals, sensible expectations. What are you finding in new homes, Andy? I was talking to Will and Mike yesterday about a property that they've launched, Bud, and they were comparing their listing to something that was a new build, shall I say. I won't say the developer, but mid-range to high-range developer. And their property was a 50 grand difference on the new home. Are we still seeing that with new homes? Is there still a fairly sort of established 10% markup on the price of a new home because it is brand new and obviously no one else has lived there, so it fetches a premium. Is that roughly the sort of number that we're looking at?
Yeah, I think 10% is about right. When I've seen, and what's not surprised me, but encouraged me for January is the amount of people that were looking July, August, September that then put a hold on looking, that then have been contacting me throughout January saying, look, we've now seen the market, it's gone the way we thought it would do, but now we can see it's going to get better. So they're now back on the lookout. So there's people actually coming back to the market that took a step back towards the end of last year. And I think there's an awful lot more positivity within the market than you would read or listen to on the mainstream news channels. I nearly swore then. The mainstream news channels.
Ellen said shed earlier, and I was quite relieved, if I'm honest with you.
So yeah, I mean, there's the buyers are out there. There is less properties out there for the buyers, but the buyers are a bit more astute now into buying, and I think they're aware that they don't have to make a decision like that. They can take 24, 48 hours, a couple of days to think about it, whereas this time last year, it was like, you've got to go now, you've got to make a decision now, and invariably it would buying at the top end of the market. The buyers got a bit more.
Do you think, Andy, over the last 18 months, there will be people sat in their new homes that felt the pressure to break a chain, to buy a property, didn't want to lose their buyer, and the market was just going so bonkers that they just went, let's just do it, reserved it, next thing they knew they completed on it? Do you think there will be, in the next 6 months to a year, those types of people that be selling and realizing actually it wasn't the perfect fit for us? Do you think there was people in the new homes game that have potentially done that? I'm not saying necessarily for you, because obviously you listen to the needs of the buyers, but do you think that's maybe a thing? Because I know a lot of buyers that panic bought new homes in my eyes.
Yeah, there was, but I think there's also a lot of people that didn't panic buy, but bought on instinct rather than just I've got to buy. I think there were, but I'd say it's a very few. I wouldn't say there's an awful lot of people. So a lot of people aren't actually sensible. A lot of people are, as much as they want to buy somewhere and they want to, it wasn't a case of they blindly go into a new home and think that's my only choice, that's what I've got to buy. And a lot of people I spoke to last year, I said to them, go away for 24 hours. Make sure it's right. Because the last thing you want to do is buy it, and even before you exchange contracts, realise it's not for you. Or once you've exchanged contracts or you moved in, have to sell it, because then that's going to cost you money because you've got the fees to pay. So I think it's that there are people that were bought incorrectly, but I think it's a very, very small margin of people.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Sanjay is throwing some funnies at us, so we've got to put this in here because he's gone the effort. He's obviously researched this one. What do you call a detective who is also an estate agent? Now, we can obviously see that in the comments. Boom, Sherlock Holmes. There you go. That's as strong as we get. He's got another one, and we won't give the answer straight away. Why did the house make an appointment with the doctor? Sanjay's on fire this evening, banging these out for fun. So what's our expectations?
All day, every day, right. I have with that, just so you all know.
So I'll just to confirm, this was the start of the joke. Why did the house make an appointment with the doctor? He had a window pane. They're not getting any better.
Wow.
Matt, talk to me about expectations for first-time buyers, because we spoke last week, and if you missed the show last week, we were talking about the fact that, I can't remember the exact numbers, there's a 100k swing on listing price across the UK to selling price. So it's something like 450 is the average house price that was listed in the first 3 weeks of January, in comparison to about 350 that was the average house price that was agreed on a sale. which would dictate to us that we're in a normal market where first-time buyers start the wave, if you like, and we build on that wave into second-time buyers, first-time sellers, and it moves up the market in that fashion. They weren't the exact numbers, but there's a 100 grand swing in theory. Reading's known as an investors and a first-time buyers market in central Reading. So is that what you're seeing at the moment? Are the types of buyers that you're registering predominantly first-time buyers or something else?
I think there's the first-time buyers who weren't able to make the move during COVID times, and whether they've got money from parents or grandparents over the Christmas period or wherever it's come from, they're now in the market ready to buy and get on the ladder. And as me and Mike were talking about earlier, the first-time buyers earlier in the year can start a chain, which will then help the chain with the family homes, which come up later in the year. Mm-hmm. Something I'm saying a lot to first-time buyers at the moment is don't be afraid to go and look at stuff which is slightly above your budget. We mentioned earlier about prices being, if it's priced correctly, you'll still find your buyer, but there's a lot of stuff which isn't priced correctly and it's just sat there on the market. So I'm saying to people, don't be afraid. You're a first-time buyer, you haven't done this before, and you think, oh, well, my budget's 300, this is up at 330, I'm not going to go and see it. I'm saying, well, actually, if it's been on the market for 2 months, go and see it, because that may well be a 300k home. So I think that's an important message, I think, for first-time buyers to hear as they're new to the process.
Yeah, I think so. Do you think it's the market now, Ellen, where people that have been on the market, you know, September, October, they came on around that sort of mini budget scenario? Do you think maybe some of those need to be thinking about a change of agents now? Is now the time to think about that? Or what would be the key reasons you would swap agent if you've been on in 2020 and you're just not getting the interest that you're expecting now? What gives you a reason to change agents?
I think if you were on the market during that Liz Truss fever dream, where the market seemed to change almost overnight, and you're not talking with your agent to establish why, if people are viewing, why they're not buying, if people aren't even viewing, why, you know, what's the reason why? Because there has to be something. And if you're not moving with the market, because, you know, at the end of the day, things did change, you know, from last summer to now, we're in a completely different market. If you play the market correctly, you will demand the interest and you will get the interest and you will get the offers. But you have to be asking the question, why? You know, to give you an example, we saw someone today who've been on with 2 different agents now over the course of 6 months. And over the course of that 6 months, they've had to reduce over £100,000. And wow. The people they've had through the door, we said, well, why haven't they bought it? What's been the feedback? And they've said, well, everyone said they liked it. You know, it's just, if your agent is paying you lip service to keep you happy, that's not doing you any good. You know, the ultimate goal is to get you sold, and they need to be giving you the reasons why, so you can change things to make it happen. So, yeah,
I totally agree. I think you've got to ask those questions, definitely. And talking of asking questions, Andy, I'll start with you. I want people often, you know, it's seasonal. People tend to move. Sometimes they give January a little bit of a wide berth, see what happens, and then we get going as we lead up to summer, and a lot of people start to get valuations if they haven't already. So, what questions should people be asking an estate agent on a valuation? And we can go round the room. We can maybe do one each. But Andy, I'm going to kick off with you. So, ladies first.
Yeah, thanks for that. What questions should they be asking? What is the demand out there? What demand has that agent got for my property? Not for anybody else's property, because anybody else's property is irrelevant to me. All I'm interested in is what demand have you got for my property? And that is the key. That is the answer. And then ask them to back it up. Try and get some proof of what they've got. If you're going to get I've got 10 people that want to come and have a look at it tomorrow. Okay. Of those 10 people, how many are actually genuine people looking? So what demand have you got for my property?
Yeah, good question. I always like to ask the question, is when you get the valuation, I want to know what your marketing price is, and what you think the achievable price is. Because I think it's really important that the public understand that sometimes estate agents will give you a figure, but that's the figure that they're trying to win the business on and go to market on. You really want to know is, what do you think I'm going to achieve? And I think it's important to write that somewhere as well. And, you know, potentially even suggest with the agent, if it goes below that achievable price for whatever reason, that maybe everyone is discounted in some way in terms of commission. But what is marketing price? What is achievable price? Ellen, yourself, what questions do you think people should ask?
Who are you going to be dealing with on a day-to-day basis? You might meet a person that gives you the value of the house, who you give the house tour to and who takes a load of notes, but who's going to be showing people your house every day? Who's going to be talking to the people on the phone to book them in for the viewing and make sure they're qualified to view it? I think that's quite key.
Really important, really, because you need to have a relationship with someone from day one, and you want to know who you're dealing with on day 2 and 3, because the likelihood is an estate agent you're potentially going to be involved with for the best part of half a year. So trust is important there for sure. Matt?
So I think a good question to ask on evaluation is what you think the struggle will be in selling a house. What obstacles does the estate agent think they're going to run into? What's going to be the sticking points? Because it's very easy for agents to sit there in a living room and say, yeah, we're going to get you this price, it's going to be great, we're going to sell it in 2 days, and to over promise. But as we all know, transactions are very seldom just plain sailing, and especially with a lot of the flats I'm selling in Reading, there's a lot of complications due to legislation changes and ground rent and this, that, and the other. And it's stuff which needs to be talked about up front. So I think ask your estate agent what potential problems or issues you could run into when selling.
I think it's really important to bring the realism to it, because there's a lot of selling that's going on in that valuation appointment from the agent talking about the house and all the positives. I think it's really important to sit down and do exactly that, Matt. Just have that honest conversation. If there's one reason why a buyer isn't going to buy my home, what do you think it is in your level of expertise? And often that's something that could be dealt with. Sometimes it's not, and you can't do anything about it. You know, if you've got a train track in your 3rd bedroom, there's not a lot you can do about it. But what can be done about anything, and will it help? I think that's a really good one. Ellen, Andy, any others to throw in the pot that you would advise people ask?
No, I think that's a really good question for Matt, actually, because oftentimes if it's a kind of a physical, tangible stumbling block with the house, the owners might well be aware of that already. Like you say, a train track in the 3rd bedroom, or, you know, I don't know, you've got a pylon next door, something like that. If the agent isn't willing to kind of say, I think people might have a problem with this, and we're going to have to, you know, compensate it one way or another, if they're not comfortable to be honest with that up front, I think that says a lot, you know. Yeah, definitely. What about marketing, Andy? I know you're big on, you know, talking and trying to really bring digital marketing and social media marketing, videography. Obviously, you've got a couple of drones, if anyone didn't know as well. Trying to really bring that digital edge to the new homes world. But in general, housing market terms, whether it's a developer or a seller, what's the importance of digital marketing in 2023?
I think I'm going to talk about new homes now, because that's where my interest is. It's brand awareness. And I say this with any marketing, you've got product and you've got brand. So you can't sell the product unless you know what the brand is. Now, Nike sell their trainers on brand. Berkeley Homes sell their product on brand. Millgate Homes used to sell their product on brand. So if you're a developer and you're building in a town where the public don't know who you are, what you built, what your history is, you're on the back foot. Now, if you're using social media and the adverts that are running out are not about the product, but they're about Joe Bloggs the Builder, and they're about Joe Bloggs the Builder, and the next one's about Joe Bloggs the Builder, and then the next one's about the product, the buyer then puts 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
And as a marketing, they are so far ahead. So that's where my marketing goes. It's brand, product on any new homes.
Yeah, it's just not done enough, or at all, by anyone outside of yourself in the new homes game. And I think in terms of digital marketing, Matt, for clients in 2023, look, the market isn't what it was 12 months ago. It's not what it was 2 months ago, thank God, but it's definitely not the boom that we were experiencing. So now it's really important more than ever to have as many eyeballs on your property video or photography or links or floor plan or descriptions. It's really important to get as many eyeballs as possible, isn't it? And I just feel that the day and age of slapping 6 photos on Rightmove and a floor plan and saying it's close to communal links and local amenities is not enough anymore, is it really? There has to be the next level of that. You know, it's in the UK, we're a bit archaic as an estate agency. So what's your take on that?
I think social media is there as a tool to get more eyeballs on properties, like you said. The same way Rightmove's a tool, Zoopla's a tool, a board outside the house is a tool. You know, these are all there. If you're a seller, you don't care whether the buyer comes from Instagram or whether it's someone who drives past and sees a board, as long as it's the best buyer for the property. So I think for us as agents and then as marketers, you know, we have a responsibility to our clients to share it out as far and wide as we possibly can.
That's my Ellen. That's a good take on it there. Ellen, what's your thoughts overall?
Yeah, I agree. I think the social media side of things that we do is just another string to our bow. And whilst some high street outfits might have a database that dates back 25, 30 years, well, our social media following is our live pool of buyers. You know, quite often it's the people that may have missed out on a house, if not two, with us, they're ready to pounce. And if they can get in before it hits Rightmove, and if they can get that sort of VIP early bird treatment, you know, they're not losing out like they have done in the past. And that that's a real live data pool for us.
I love the Beat the Portal setup. I think Ellen's freezing a little bit there. I love the Beat the Portal setup, and I really do think if you're in the market and you're half interested in finding a property this year, or you're just kind of thinking, right, what's going on locally with my prices? What's going on with my house? Maybe you bought last year, 2 years ago, or maybe you just want to know where's the market at. Following the social channels at Avocado gives you the ability to see the properties without scrolling through Rightmove. You get the jump. So if you are in the market looking, the hashtag Beat the Portals is such a game changer for people that are following the page, because you're going to get the jump on the rest of the community, the rest of the public. So if you want that VIP exclusive treatment, it's a bit like my wife will tell me that Beyonce tickets went on sale today and all the O2 users got the priority list. Well, we're giving you the priority list in our social media channels. You've just got to be in the community and be aware of it. And when you see Matt Barrell goes live in Reading, you're going to get instant knowledge that property is going live. When you see Ellen and Sanjay debating who's going left, who's going right, which one's doing Instagram, which one's doing Facebook, that's exactly what you're going to see. So that's a big reason to make sure if you are looking in the local area or whatever area you're looking in, find your local agent, find your local Avocado partner, make sure you're following their page, get a notification when they go live, and that's the reason they're going live. Makes a big difference. Andy, just give us an overall kind of wrap up, if possible, on what you think the new homes world is going to do this year, because I heard some rumours that a lot of developers were not building for the first couple of quarters to see what's going to go on with lay of the land. But what's your kind of inside scoop in the new homes game?
A lot of the big guys, and I mean the big guys, like the top 1%, 2%, 3% of builders in the UK in terms of volume, have said that they're going to take stock on starting new projects. Now that doesn't mean they're stopping, because they've got so many other projects going on that they're going to continue with those, but the new stuff, they're just going to take a step back and see what happens. I've had quite a few discussions. I had one this morning actually with quite a high profile developer, that he's been contacted by 3 different landowners where he was negotiating last year for land, that he lost out because other agents, other land buyers were going in there at ridiculously valued in terms of prices, that funnily enough, they've now fallen by the wayside. So he's now looking at these sites that he was looking at 6 months, a year ago. So I think you'll find that there's going to be a fair amount of landowners that are, I won't say depressed, that are annoyed because they've been given the wrong advice, because they've been hoodwinked into going with a bigger offer. But usually these bigger offers, it's not the builder's money, it's the bank's money. And the bank is saying, well, hold on, if you're not going to make the profit on it, why would we lend you the money on it? So we're not going to lend you the money on it unless you get the value comes down to a more realistic value. So I think you'll find there's going to be a lot of disappointed landowners at the moment, that either they've got to wait 3 years for the market to get back to where it's going to be. So don't forget, obviously, material values have gone through the ceiling. I said through the floor, through the ceiling. So, you're looking at 10-15% more in terms of build costs. You've got a lack of skilled labour. So the whole cost of everything in building a house has gone up. Now that's got to compact somewhere. Now, if the housing market's come down 5-10%, and the building cost has gone up 15-20%, that's a 30% difference in terms of the land value. And either they sit and they wait on it and see what happens. Now, whatever happens with the economy in terms of who gets into power at the end of next year, is going to have a massive effect on the housing market. So, do you make hay whilst the sun shines now, and you've got somebody who's there, who's prepared to buy it, who's got the money, who's got the know-how to buy it, or do you chance your arm again and go with a silly higher value up here that you're not going to get anywhere?
Yeah, it's interesting to see what happens. It's equivalent of a down valuation, I guess, in normal home moves. And do you think that land value has dropped more significantly than the residential sales market? I would say we've seen about 7% now, probably on asking price reductions since the summer markets as an average figure. Do you think land has had more of a hit?
I think the asking prices of land have, because the asking prices were just so ridiculous. And the amount of sites I valued last year that still remain on exchange, still remain on optioned. I don't have an option on them, but they haven't exchanged contracts. So it's nothing. It's like somebody saying, I will buy it, but actually, when it comes to the crunch, I'm going to knock 100 grand off it. So where you could have sold it last year for 2 million quid, you're actually now looking at 1.8 million. So you're looking at about a 10% drop. But if it's the right price, if it's the right product in the right area, you'll get the money for it, because people still want to buy homes. If you look at the economy, the dollar today is 1.22 to the pound. Now, when Liz Truss had her brainwave, it went down to $1.08. Now, when we first went into recession, it was $1.16. Sorry, when we first went into not recession. Sorry, I don't remember the R word. Into the lockdown in March 21st of March, it was $1.16. So we're actually better we were than pre-pandemic level. So the economy is there. All this rubbish and negativity in the news is just rubbish. That's what it is. When I used to watch the news religiously every day, I can't watch it now. If I did, I'd be driving to Beachy Head. Because it's just ridiculous. It's just, there's never any good news. And it's,
it is a lot of nonsense. It is a lot of nonsense.
It is, and it's just.
I don't want you to get carried away there, Andy, with a crazy rant, but because I could see it was boiling inside.
Sorry, I was about to go off on one there.
Yeah, we were about to hit the media, and the Sun newspaper was about to get attacked, and everything was going on. No, I totally agree. Don't watch the media. Watch us. I've got questions coming in everywhere. I've got jokes from Sanjay. There's someone on YouTube that's talking to us about getting a property to rent in Wokingham. Raj, we hear you. Thank you for checking in with us abroad. It's good to hear that you'll be landing in the country on the 8th of February. We'd love to help you. So the best thing you can do is jump on the website and just fill out the contact form or registration, and we'll try and help you if we can. Sanjay, thank you for filling our comments with these one-liners. The last one that you put in is too bad to put live. And I would just like to go to Matt and say, have you got anything bubbling, any little secrets, any #hashtag beat the portals that you could tell us about? Hashtag beat the portals.
So I've got a little Beat the Portals take-on session scheduled for next week at a luxury 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment in Reading Town Centre. Really excited about this one. I'd sold a similar flat in the development at the end of last year, so I've got another one coming up. So excited to take that on. So keep an eye on my page, anyone watching, for more details.
Nice. Ellen, what about you and Sanjay? Anything in Bracknell that's not gone live yet that you can give us a little teaser on?
Oh, so many. Yeah, we've got we saw someone today with a 5-bed detached in one of the most sought after tree lined areas of Bracknell. And then opposite end of the spectrum, nice little 2-bed ground floor apartment with a garden. Yeah, it's got a few bits, different ends of the spectrum.
Nice. Is that in the Wooden Hill area?
Maybe.
Andy Meads. Obviously, it's a bit more confidential for you, but is there anything you can tell us about that's on the horizon without giving the game away, or are you tight-lipped?
Tight-lipped. Loose-lipped.
How many drones? How many drones are behind you?
How many drones are behind me? 2. Just 2.
2 drones are better than 1. That's what they say. Right, mate.
Indeed.
Lovely to talk to you, Andy, as always. Matthew, thank you for joining me. It's good to hear the Reading market is kicking off. Ellen, thank you very much for your updates on those 2 new listings. And great advice for people. If you're just joining now, we went through the questions that you should be asking estate agents on evaluation. Definitely go back and check those out. There's some great advice there. And we'll be back next Thursday at 6 o'clock in the evening. Goodbye for now.